Hey guys, Shakra is here for another installment of the LoLpro tips. Today I'm here to talk about Jinx and every important factor you need to know about her. The LoLpro guide is already up where I'm working with Fi to bring an excellent guide. Also, one more thing, there's a section in the description with timestamps so you can jump back and forth as you please. So if you're not interested in a particular section, just skip. And if you want to come back, you can always look in the description. Now that we have that out of the way, let's take a look at Jinx's important base stats. Starting with range, she sits at 525, which is lower than some of other marksmen. However, remember that in rocket mode her range goes up to 700, which is pretty good. So just so you can have an idea of her range, this graph will further explain it. Now on to her other stats. Out of the 16 most common marksmen, Jinx has the 4th highest base health at level 1 and the 8th at level 18. In terms of flat attack damage, I'm not ranking them because the AD values are very close between marksmen, but she has 53 base at level 1 and 104 base attack damage at level 18. As for attack speed, Jinx's is very low. At level 18 she only has 0.8 attack speed per second, which is much lower than any other marksman. This is a countermeasure to her 130% attack speed bonus on her minigun, so when you are on rocket mode, expect being quite slow with auto attacks. Now moving on, let's talk about the items you should not build on Jinx. And after extensively testing Jinx, I ultimately noticed that some items that people think are good on her are actually not that great. To start, I'd like you guys to look at Jinx as if she was Graves. And why is that? Because of her spells. Similarly to Graves, she has really high ratios on her abilities. W has a scaling of 140% with AD. Exactly, 140%. Meaning Bloodthirster will amplify the damage by 140. Excluding the resist, of course. Her ultimate also hits pretty hard. Apart from doing percentage of missing health, the base damage is high and it has a scaling of 100% with attack damage. So first item on the list is Blade of the Ruined King, and it looks like a good item on Jinx and it helps her with her low base attack speed and it gives her a good active to combat her low mobility. The problem with this item is that it won't solve her low mobility problems. Sure, you can use the active to kite, but then Fizz, Zed or Ahri will just dash back in and catch you regardless. You can't help being caught and killed by assassins if you have no peel or good positioning. Not only that, with such good ratios, you should really get a hard scaling item like Bloodthirster or Infinity Edge instead. Speaking of mobility, the second item on the list is Trinity Force, and I've seen a lot of people discuss Trinity Force as an option for Jinx. Why not? Well, to start, Phage was nerfed on ranged champions, only yielding half of the movement speed compared to before the nerfs. And not only that, her cooldowns are quite long, apart from her zap, which is 6 seconds at max rank. This means she can't get that many Spellblade procs to actually use Sheen well. The third item I saw people considering a lot was Tear of the Goddess, and ultimately Muramana. And despite you charging it decently fast because auto attacks in rocket stance fill tier, you'll be delaying your core build and making your laning a lot weaker. The reason why we see Ezreal doing it is because he can get away with it due to his very high mobility. Now for the complete build you can check LoLpro, but there is one more item I'd like to talk about, and that item is Runon's Hurricane. But unlike the other 3 items, I actually see potential in this item on Jinx. And now you might be thinking that I'm probably mad. What's interesting about this item is that it works on Jinx's rocket mode. What does this mean? It means that assuming 3 targets are close to each other, you'll do 210% damage to each one. It's not something I'd necessarily do, but it might work. Ultimately, I'd suggest you test it as it may not be the smart choice. Now, moving on to tips and tricks. Use quick stance switches to harass from afar. You can quickly change to Fishbones, auto attack the enemy, and change back to Paw Paw, and keep the normal laning phase with blast hits. Use the splash damage on Fishbones to your advantage. If you see an enemy close to a minion, you can damage him by hitting the minion, provided he's within the 150 range. Be aware of the rocket splash damage when sieging. If a champion is hugging the tower, don't auto attack it with Fishbones as you'll draw tower aggro. Zap has a long delay and is quite easy to sidestep, so try to either fire from the Fog of War or use it in between other skills to make it more unpredictable. Zap grants true vision. This means that if you hit an enemy while near their ward, you'll actually see it. It's also a very good tool versus stealth units like Twitch. Flame Chompers have a slight delay, so be careful when placing them. And versus champions that jump at you, it's imperative that you let them use their dashes and mobility moves before you use your crowd control. If you zap or use Flame Chompers too early, chances are a champion like Fizz will jump over with Playful Trickster. Super Mega Def Rocket has a delay, just like Zap, so if you're too predictable, chances are you'll miss. Try to go into the Fog of War to ult. You should have a mindset similar to that of when you're playing Ezreal. Remember that it needs to travel for at least 1 second to deal maximum damage. So now to talk about the best supports and the best comps for Jinx, I have here with me Impact, who is a Diamond 1 support player, and a link to his channel will be in the description. He focuses mainly on supporting and how to support correctly, and if you want to learn more about support, I definitely recommend you look at his videos.
So my top support for Jinx is Nami. Nami's kit is just perfect for Jinx, giving her everything she lacks. Acro Prison will allow Jinx to follow up with her Flame Chompers and allow for an easy zap. Tide Color's Blessing lets her kite, Heaven Flow heals Jinx, and Tidal Wave is an excellent tool for both engaging and disengaging. All of this, and I haven't even mentioned Surging Tides. Nami's passive will allow her to speed up Jinx a lot and help her in the mobility department, where she's weakest. Second on the list is Zara. She provides a ton of peel for Jinx. Just like Nami, you can follow up her route with your Flaming Chomper and an easy zap for a lot of poke. Zara just lacks sustain and mobility that she could give to Jinx, but she's probably the strongest in the peel department. My last preferred support for Jinx would be Sona. She has poke, damage amplification, sustain, a slow, and her ultimate is a good tool for both engaging and disengaging. Her only downside is that she can quite follow Jinx in the poke war sometimes due to low range. Other than those three, I can see her work really well with Thresh, Lulu, and Janna. Team comps. Jinx isn't very mobile, but she has immense range when equipped with Fishbones on her Zap and also on her Super Mega Death Rocket. She has the damage and burst for a pick comp and the range and AoE for Siege, and her kit makes her a rather effective and deadly poker. For this reason, I think that the comps that will suit her better are either pick-off comps, Siege comps, or poke comps, the last two being somewhat similar. When playing pick-off, she synergizes incredibly well with the likes of Ahri, Fizz, Kassadin, and Zed. High mobility assassins that can remove a champion from the map in a heartbeat. In the top lane and jungle, you want crowd control to lock down targets, like Shen, Zac, and Malphite, and Nocturne, Vide, Nautilus, and Jarvan in the jungle. Combined with Jinx's burst and follow-up CC, you'll remove targets one by one in skirmishes before a real 5v5 can occur. Your jungler or support will need an oracles and a lot of wards right after the laning phase to take full advantage of her power. You'll then be looking for pick-offs on the enemy jungle. In case you can find any, there is also potential to play the Siege game. Albeit slightly different from pick-off comps, Siege comps use a lot of common champions, but use champions like Gragas, Orianna, or Anivia to single out the target. In this case, you'll want to slowly harass the enemies under their own turret and not allow them to come near you. You can use both Flame Chompers and Zap's incredible slow to pull this off if you have to. By doing this properly, the enemy will soon realize that Jinx is an enemy too powerful to withstand a siege against. In the poke comp, the siege aspect is still there, difference being you want to force them out of defending objectives with extreme poke and take them while they back off. In this scenario, you'll probably be looking for a mid laner like Nidalee, Lux, or Xerath that can help out even more with poke. A Nidalee Spear combined with Jinx's Zap and Ultimate will probably remove someone from the map.
So that's all for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please leave a like if you did, subscribe for more content. I'll be doing this for each champion that gets released, and that's pretty much it. I'll see you guys in the Rift. Chakra signing out.